You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 281. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Spencer Valdez.
Comic Reflections is brought to you by The Outhouse. You can find our show and other nifty content at theouthousers.com. And if you enjoy this program, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher.
You can also rate and review us on either of those platforms.
That's right. So today, Spencer and I are going to wrap up our coverage of the Punisher Limited Series from the 1980s, covering issues 4 and 5. And so we will begin with The Punisher, number 4, cover dated April of 1986. But according to Mike's Amazing World of Comics, it hit the stands January 7th, 1986. And the story in this issue is called Final Solution. Written by Stephen Grant, penciled by Mike Zeck, and inked by John Beatty. So where we left off last issue was the Punisher had just been shot by Angela.
Mm-hmm. And left to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the next page.
Yeah. In the trade. We're reading from the trade.
Oh, of course, yeah. He's jumping across rooftops, and he's just fine.
He's really strong with that parkour.
He has an Uzi in his hands. And he mentions that, Angela's shot was enough to put me down, but it didn't kill me. It grazed my skull and has given me a permanent headache.
This is such a Republic serials kind of cliffhanger.
Uh-huh.
You think the hero is dead, and they come back like, oh no, just grazed me.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's such a trope of comics.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know, it's funny. I wanted to point it out. Yeah.
Up to this point, we've found that Punisher has been released from jail to aid the Trust in taking out organized crime.
Yeah.
He then doesn't like the idea, like the way the Trust is dealing with organized crime. He's set up all these mob guys for them to kill, but they've also killed a bunch of innocent people as well. And so now he's kind of on a vendetta against
the Trust.
The Trust. We find out that the Trust has other people, other guys dressed like Punisher.
And they're like brainwashing them, programming them to act as their agents.
Right. So right now, Punisher is on his way to the Warden's aide's apartment.
Right.
The Warden from the first issue.
Yeah.
To find out some information. When he gets there, there's another Punisher.
Yeah.
That's already been to the apartment and has killed the aide.
Yeah. So Frank kills this guy, right?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Frank then kind of starts going through the aide's.
And he has AIDS. No, I'm kidding.
His file cabinet. Looking for Rolodex.
In the Rolodex, there is a file under A for Archie Andrews, as in Archie Comics.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah. In one of the previous issues, I neglected to mention it. I think it's the issue where the battle van gets blown up. There is a newspaper headline that says Chaykin leaves Manhattan or something to that effect, and it's a nod to Howard Chaykin, Stephen's friend, who handpicked Stephen to take over writing on American Flag.
Awesome.
So I forgot to mention that before, but I'm like, yeah, I love these Easter eggs.
Right.
So I was like, good, I'll get them all right here.
Awesome. Yeah. Wasn't there an Archie Punisher crossover?
There was. In the early 90s, there was.
Yeah.
There was a one-shot. And oddly, I have not read that.
No.
But I want to so bad.
I love the Archie crossovers. They've had a few come out in the last couple of years.
I feel like that's probably the first one.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I haven't kept tabs on all the things of that nature, intercompany crossovers with Archie. Yeah. But I feel like that's...
I was picking up the limited series, the Archie vs. Predator. Seriously great read. It was so good.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and I think Mark Waid is writing it right now.
The main series?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's get back to Punisher.
Yes.
So Frank Castle finds kind of a name he's looking for, but he needs more information. So he decides he's going to head to the Warden's place and have a conversation with the Warden.
Yeah.
Of course, as soon as he gets there, The guy that he had chased out of the aide's apartment is at the warden's apartment, and
Yeah, this apartment's just riddled
Castle
with
just
AIDS.
it blows him away. Just
You
nails
hear
him.
my joke there?
Yeah, I got it.
That's terrible.
Uh, blows the guy away, so he's dead, and he grabs the warden and says, "You're going to tell me what you know about the trust, or
But I don't want it.
I'm going to kill you."
Okay.
He's like, "Oh, I can't. They'll kill me." He's like, "I'm going to kill you, so you might as well just tell me."
Like, okay.
Where do I find Alaric? That's the kind of guy. That's his contact with the trust.
Right.
The warden tells him, and he picks up a gun. And Frank's like, "You're really gonna try?" He's like, "I can't beat you, but they're gonna kill me anyways." And he just kills himself.
Yeah. We see it off panel, which is classier. Well, you see him put his gun to his chin.
Yeah, but
and then
bam.
Yeah, but we see Frank's reaction.
Yeah.
Which I like that. And first of all, there's no way, even in the 80s where the code has relaxed somewhat and you have the direct sales market, you still is not going to pass the code.
Right.
If you just show someone blowing their brains out.
Yeah.
So.
But Frank just kind of goes back to reading right afterwards. He watches him kill him. Watches the warden kill himself.
Yeah, but it's just like it's not like Frank's never seen anyone die before. He was in Nam.
Yeah.
He probably saw some terrible stuff there.
I think it just gives us a look into who Frank Castle is a little bit.
Also, there are issues of the Marvel series The Nam that have Punisher or Frank Castle adventures in Vietnam.
Wow.
At least one issue.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Police make their way up into the apartment, and they arrest Frank Castle.
Yeah.
Or they arrest the Punisher.
Yeah.
And he says, "I'm not going to fight you, but I need to go." And so, no, the mayor's going to pin a medal on my shirt. You're going to jail. I'm not going to let you out of my sight.
But the Punisher keeps talking, and the guy keeps listening.
The guy keeps listening. One of the cops keeps listening. The other one gets angry, and almost as soon as they leave, they're
fired upon, and the partner gets shot and killed.
Right.
So the other cop is willing to listen.
Right. Drags him behind a dumpster. The car is crashed. And the cop looks out and he sees a group of Punishers running towards him. He's like, "Hey, these are your men. Call off the hit." And Punisher's like, "They're not my men. There's really only two ways out of this. You either let me go and I help you,
or they kill us
or
both.
they kill us both." And so the cop's like, "All right, you have to promise, though, when this is over, you let me take you in." And Frank's like, "All right, fine." The cop unlocks him and
uncuffs him.
Yeah, uncuffs him. "Do you swear?" "Yeah, I swear." And so Punisher yells, "Cover me!" The cop fires on the other Punishers, and he takes off across the open range area that all these Punisher lookalikes are firing on. And the Punisher kind of makes his escape, but kills all of the Punisher lookalikes in the process.
Yeah.
And then the cop's like, "Man, he promised."
Frank does kind of go back on his word, but the job isn't done.
Right. And so, had they caught him at the end of the job, he might have just,
Yeah.
All right.
So he catches up with the mob. Remember the mob guy's son that was going to try and kill the Punisher? Well, he's around.
Right. Tony Siciliano.
Thank you. And so, Punisher commandeers his car, and they go to Alaric's house.
Right. Prior to that, we get kind of I think it's a bit of a flashback, earlier, to Alaric's place. It's this, it's on a cliff, and the only way to get there is over a bridge and all this stuff. And he's talking to the cowboy Texas guy again.
Yeah.
And he's kind of showing.
It's like this character was hastily put together.
Right. He's showing Texas around the compound because this is where they are taking the men they're turning into Punishers.
Right. And so Angela's there, and Alaric's big dog is there.
Right. And so through a mixture of gas and an electric floor, they're torturing these guys.
They're conditioning these guys and
brainwashing them into becoming Punisher. They at one point, Alaric asks, "What's your name?" The guy starts to say, Joey Sabo. No, and like they shock him and gas him.
Ah, the Punisher.
Right, Punisher. Punisher. What's your name? Punisher. Say it again, Punisher. And so we get an idea of how these guys are becoming Punishers.
Yeah, this is a really neat idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
for like a bad guy.
Yeah, to do that to somebody. Yeah, that's good.
So back with Punisher and Tony, they're in a car, and they the narrator, like Frank's thoughts tell us it's been a long, quiet car ride.
Right?
Because how much do you want to talk to the guy that you're trying to
that you want to kill?
That you want to kill,
Yeah.
And so, is this the place up ahead? Do you what now? I'm not. I'm not going to help you in this crusade against these people.
Right.
And Frank's like, cool, and punches him and throws him out of the car. Like while it's running.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
And so there is a blockade, but Punisher just rams through it.
Yeah.
Onto the bridge.
And there's a bunch of kind of guards who are all dressed as Punisher.
Yeah.
And they start firing on the car, but prior to the car going across the bridge, we find out that Punisher has put a block of plastic on the gas pedal.
Yeah.
And has launched the car at them and blown it up. He's able to sneak behind them, knock them out, and get around.
Yeah. Now, is the bridge blown or no?
No, the bridge isn't blown. It was just enough to cause a distraction for him to get around. He's dragging bodies away, and what's going on out here? And beats me. Turns out the guy asking the original question is
Jigsaw. Jigsaw is one of the dudes.
Right, he's been reconditioned into believing.
With him and his creepy, metal collar that kind of keeps his neck brace or whatever.
Right.
In the Punisher outfit, it looks cool.
Yeah, he looks pretty crazy. But he's able to get the drop kind of... Or no.
He's such a dark Dick Tracy villain.
Yeah.
For the Punisher.
Punisher pops him in the face with his Uzi, and there's a few other fake Punishers coming, shoots his gun at him, and he's able to get away for the moment. He kind of has his back to a tree, but Jigsaw, when Punisher punched Jigsaw, it
made him remember who he was.
Right.
Because head trauma fixes everything.
Of course.
We've read plenty of Silver Age Green Lantern. We know that's true.
And so Jigsaw has a grenade launcher attached to his machine gun.
And blows up a tree.
And
Frank talks about in his inner monologue getting hit with, he's full of splinters and stuff.
There are slivers up and down me. Pain.
Ow.
I'm not crippled. I can still make it.
Ouch. Also, it's got to be a dead, dry tree, because I feel like a live tree would be more wet in its explodiness.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've never had that experience, so who knows?
Tree.
Yeah.
So at this point, Alaric, Angela, and Texas are all aware that something's going down.
Yeah.
And
Tex tries to bail.
Right, yeah. He's like, I'm out of here. And then he kind of threatens Alaric, look, if this doesn't follow through, you're going to be done with the trust.
Yeah.
And are you threatening me? And he's like, yeah, I thought that was clear.
Yeah.
But Alaric releases his dog on Texas.
And so the dog chases Tex out. Tex is going to try and bail and hit the helicopter and get out of there.
Right.
No way this guy who's at least 50 years old is going to outrun this big dog.
Yeah,
no way in the world. So Alaric has a tender moment with Angela.
Yeah, tells her to leave and that he'll catch up with her.
Yeah.
Punisher watches Texas make for the helicopter.
Right.
With the dog kind of on his heels.
Right.
And decides, you know what? They're not these other Punishers aren't going to shoot at this guy. He's too important.
Right.
I'm going to go after him. And so he jumps on the helicopter, and before Alaric is able to blow up the helicopter, he jumps to the roof.
Right.
And so he's safe away from the other Punishers at the moment.
Yeah, but dramatic reveal. Yeah, Alaric blows up the helicopter. He had that planned.
Right.
So, was Angela on the helicopter? I forget.
No.
No, okay.
She had made her way out the front door.
That's right. That's right, because Alaric didn't want her to die. He loved her.
Right, yeah.
Even though he let the Punisher put the wood to her.
Yeah. Punisher crashes through the window, and then we get this series of panels of...
A series of panels in a comic book?
Yeah. That are...
Oh, the Punisher, he swings from the roof down through a window.
Right.
Break the window.
But they're supposed to be, like, monitors.
Oh, right. Because Alaric has got his monitor room. He's watching everything that's happening.
Right.
Very good. Very good.
And Punisher starts shooting the monitors.
Because Alaric's talking to him, trying to like, hey, look, we can still patch this up.
Right.
Like, no.
He's like, he basically said he's made these men better. They're going to kill him if Alaric doesn't and all that stuff. But Punisher falls through a trap door.
Right.
And into one of the...
conditioning rooms.
Yeah. And we're kind of left with this, like, this cliffhanger of Punisher kind of ripped to shreds.
And being gassed.
And being gassed, yeah.
So, what? Yeah, stuff.
Yeah. It was good stuff. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It is good. So we now are going to take a quick promotional break, and when we come back, we will talk about the finale of this series.
Yeah.
So we're going to be working together? Really? Worst film you ever saw? Well, my next one will be better.
It's the Film and Water Podcast. The Film and Water Podcast covers movies new and old, classic and not so classic. Proud member of the Fire and Water Podcast Network, available weekly on fireandwaterpodcast.com and on iTunes and Stitcher.
Xenozoic Xenophiles.
A fan podcast devoted to the comic series Xenozoic Tales.
It's a post-apocalyptic adventure series filled with Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
I'm Ruth.
And I'm Darren.
We hope you'll join us as we discuss the stories, characters, and art in this excellent comic series from creator, writer, and artist Mark Schultz.
Xenozoic Xenophiles is available at podbean.com and on iTunes and Stitcher.
And find us at xenozoicxenophiles.com.
And we're back. So now we're going to talk about Punisher number 5, cover dated May of 1986. But according to Mike's Amazing World of Comics, it went on sale February 11th, 1986. And the story is Final Solution Part 2, plotted by Stephen Grant, scripted by Mary Jo Duffy, penciled by Mike Vosberg, and inked by John Beatty. So, a change in the creative team for the final issue.
Right.
And for a long time, I did not know, what happened here. And so I asked Stephen. I said, I said that you and I were going to talk about the finale of this series, and I wanted to, what happened here with number 5? Why did Mary Jo Duffy and Mike Vosberg take over this instead of him and Zach? Mm-hmm. And so Stephen answered, and we had a conversation about this. He didn't want to rehash it too much, but he said that to chalk it up to a scheduling problem, and that is Marvel wanted the book faster. I'm quoting now. Marvel wanted the book faster than Mike and I could produce it. We were too successful for our own good and took the Punisher from a character no one at Marvel had any faith in to a character they wanted lots of material with right now.
Right.
And he goes on to say, a little note to illuminate that. A week before the release of the first issue, a highly placed person in Marvel's marketing department told editor Carl Potts, quote, "You know Marvel fans don't want stories about a psychotic murderer." And then they estimated that the miniseries would bomb.
Wow.
Which is weird that you would greenlight a series that you don't think is going to sell. But whatevs. But as Steven says, it came out on a Friday and pretty much sold out by noon that day everywhere in the country. And they were unable in those days to go back to press. So by Monday, they had established that Marvel's first ownership problem to handle the sudden demand, overship program to handle the sudden demand for the series. So starting with issue number 3, since it's already too late to do anything for number 2. So you'll notice the covers of the first 2 issues say 1 of 4.
Right.
In the limited series, and then the rest of the series say like of 5.
Right.
So I'm kind of intersplicing my dialogue here with what Steven said about it. So, so the Marvel viewpoint shifted. This is Steven now. Dramatically over a weekend. Let's see. Steven goes on to say that basically we weren't producing the book fast enough for the marketing department's needs. They had it all planned out and ready to do it in 4, and then they asked to squeeze out a 5th because the first issue sold like gangbusters.
Right. Yeah.
And why when you're basically printing off money,
Sure.
Go for it. And then I asked Steven if Joe Duffy's ending bore any resemblance to what he had intended for the story, and he said, well, it was his plot, so to that extent, yes. Steven goes on to say, the dialogue wasn't much like he'd have done it. I would have ended with Angela pleading for the Punisher's help as he marches past slowly, bleeding to death. He was pretty banged up and shot up in my version, Steven says. And his last words would have been along the lines of, right now, I haven't got the time. Just kind of a Gone with the Wind, if you think about it. A little bit, which is, hey, okay, I like that. Steven says, I wanted the audience to understand that the Punisher does not self-identify as a hero, nor should they identify him as such. And Steven says, I suspect that was a bit much for Marvel to cope with. So that's what Steven had to say about the whole thing there. Yeah. That's interesting because, then in the 90s, Venom was a huge character.
Right, yeah.
And, he was a supervillain. But they're like, can we, hero him up so that we can market him, a little more, give him limited series and things like that? And they did. They kind of made him an anti-hero. But what a weird time.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see how Marvel kind of shifted on that kind of point.
Yeah.
And maybe because the Punisher, who is not a superhero, became this popular heroic-ish character. They're like, well, why don't we just do what we did with the Punisher?
Yeah.
But it's different in the sense that Venom started as a straight-up revenge-motivated supervillain.
Right.
But, stuff. Comics. So thank you so much for that insight, Steven. We appreciate that a great deal. And then now why don't we talk about the issue itself?
Yeah, so we left off with Punisher being gassed and going to be tortured, basically.
Yeah.
Kind of getting him in to be part of the Punisher's group that the Trust was creating.
Yeah, they're going to make him... I don't think that conditioning would work because he already is the Punisher. I'm sure the conditioning also made them obedient, too. Yeah.
Probably. And so we then get this sequence of Punisher and Alaric kind of convert. They're not really talking, but we're getting both sides of their thinking. Yeah. So Alaric is wanting to get Punisher to be on their side still, on the side of the Trust. Punisher, knowing what's happening, starts creating a plan. Typically, when this kind of stuff happens, they throw someone into these conditioning chambers naked, no tools, nothing. Yeah. He went into this conditioning chamber fully clothed, fully armed,
there's a weird thing he does.
Yeah.
I like this. They're gassing him.
Yeah, he takes off one of his gloves and he shoves it into his nose
That's weird.
But it's so that the gas won't get like
Right. But then he takes off his shirt and shoves it into the he used a knife
open up the vent,
and then he shoves his shirt into there to block the gas being pumped in.
Right.
And so it backs up the pump and causes an explosion in the wall, and so Frank can get free.
Yeah.
Only in comics.
Right.
But I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. He pulls the crumpled glove out of his face, but
did he just stick the fingers up his nose?
He might have, yeah.
I'm sure that's it.
He is immediately attacked by none other than Jigsaw.
Yeah. This creepy neck brace. The neck brace makes it weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it.
Okay. Jigsaw basically kind of manhandles Punisher for a bit. Knocks him to the ground. Punisher's going for a gun. Slams on his hand with his boot. And is like, hey, I told you I was going to make you scream. You're going to scream, and then I'm going to kill you. And he's like twisting his arm back.
Yeah.
Trying to make it Punisher scream. And he's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Punisher's not going to do anything you tell him to.
Right.
And so...
Does not play well with others, that Punisher. Yeah.
Jigsaw standing over him with his Uzi tells him to scream and it'll all be over.
Yeah.
And Frank says, don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
And stabs the dude in his leg.
Yeah.
Takes him out and just beats him. And I'm assuming he kills him.
No.
No?
Jigsaw comes back again and again. So no. He kicks his ass, though.
Yeah. I don't... From what I was like, from how I read it that he killed him. Beating him to death with his fists, and then the Uzi, and just he's gone crazy.
And also, you have to remember, a lot of presumed villain deaths in comics are left ambiguous in case they're like, no, editorial's like, we want to use that guy again.
Yeah. And he doesn't really say anything, but we get a lot of inner monologue. Crazy, maybe I am. But it's my kind of crazy, not your kind. Not Alaric's kind of crazy either. My kind. The kind that gets the job done.
Man.
Yikes. And then he kind of looks at the other Punishers. You're still here? You still want me? Be my guest. And just looks at them. And they just take off. They say, no thank you, sir. And run away.
Which is pretty funny. And it's like, remember back in the first issue when he fought like 10 guys?
Right.
With a pipe?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh, while he was in jail, yeah.
Yeah.
So Alaric and two of the other kind of henchmen are watching this go down, and you can see on the henchman's face like, shit, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So they actually take off, and Alaric is like livid. You cowards!
But then he begs for his life in just a few minutes.
he grabs the gun, and it looks like he's just fumbling, like he doesn't really know how to use it.
Yeah.
He's the kind of villain that doesn't get his hands dirty.
Right. Now he's going to have to. He wants to live. Oh, but see, when Frank walks into the room, he hits him in the jaw with the butt of the rifle.
Right.
Or first in the gut, and then that. So, he's in the fight.
Right. I think he's dead. There's blood on me, on my hands, my shirt. Gotta get away. Right. So he runs away, drops the gun.
And amateur, you always make sure they're dead.
He goes and packs a bag.
Yeah, that's what you want to do right now.
I guess.
Well, he thinks there's nobody dead.
Yeah. And in the in one of the panels, it's just the shadow of Punisher, Alaric. No. It's finished. You're finished. But Alaric kind of gets the drop on him. He pulls a gun, and out of nowhere, the dog shows up.
Yeah.
And so Punisher's kind of in between rock and a hard place. If he shoots the dog, Alaric's going to shoot him. If he shoots Alaric, the dog's going to attack him, and that's going to suck.
Yeah.
Although I didn't really see the dog as big of a threat to Punisher in this. Like, if it was me, big threat. Both sides. Punisher, though...
It's just a dog. I mean, it's still, a dangerous, guard dog, but...
I feel like if you kill Alaric, you're going to be able to handle this dog okay.
Yeah, it's
know?
as a Mexican standoff, this doesn't quite work.
Right. And so Punisher has a choice to make, and he just shoots Alaric,
Yeah.
and then punches the dog with the gun.
Yeah.
And he shoots him kind of in the arm. He doesn't kill him. Please don't kill me, please. You're not going to kill me. I'm not going to kill you. But you are going to call the newspaper. What is his name?
Ben Urich.
Ben Urich. He's a good guy for a newspaperman.
Yeah. He says that. That's funny.
And you're going to give him every detail
About
the trust.
He's like, but they'll kill me. It's like, well, I'll kill you right now.
Yeah. that does seem kind of like Punisher's go-to move.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to kill you? I'm going to kill you sooner.
Yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing. It's a move that works well.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I mean, like, immediate death, or like, maybe I could get away and hide, from the other dudes. But, yeah.
Yeah. He ends up saying, you sing loud enough, fast enough, they'll either leave you alone, or you can bet they'll get punished for whatever they do to you. Just like the criminals they are. Do it, and he just walks away.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh no, and he does it. He turns around and points a gun at him and just says, bang.
And Alaric totally cringes.
Yeah.
So he knows that Frank is not bluffing.
Yeah. And Frank kind of mentions, I don't even have to watch him. He's gonna do it. I've put the fear into him. He's gonna do it. The dog wakes up, and kind of starts following him because he's definitely like the alpha around here.
Yeah. And so then as Frank's leaving, we catch up with Tony again.
Right. We do have some pretty good inner monologue.
That's a good dialogue. Brain dialogue.
Yeah. He's kind of going over
You want to call it that? Brain dialogue?
Yeah, sure.
Brain dialogue.
He's going over like what's got him to this point.
Yeah.
Gangsters killed my family. I set up to kill gangsters. I set up gangsters to die. Innocent people died. I have to go back and I have to get revenge. I have to do all this. Do I have to keep killing? Is this the circle of blood that I'm going to be trapped in? Circle of blood you mentioned previously. But there's every answer that he's come up with has involved bullets, and he's tired. He doesn't want to be killing people for the rest of his life.
Right.
And so it kind of leads down into he sees the shadow of someone holding a gun, and he realizes who it is. Do I have to kill this guy? I don't want to have to, but if it's him or me, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And he basically kind of lays that out for Tony Siciliano.
Yeah.
And Tony just kind of, and he basically lays out the circle of blood.
It's like, look, if you try to kill me,
I'm gonna kill you, and then your brother's gonna come after me. I'm gonna have to kill him.
Yeah.
And then
it's like you can walk away now and have a normal life.
Right.
Because he was gonna go to be a lawyer or a doctor or something.
Something like that, yeah. And Tony just kind of slumps against a wall.
It's like, dang it, you're right.
Yeah. And so Punisher kind of makes his way out of the house.
Yeah.
And across the bridge.
Yeah.
And then we jump over to Angela.
Yeah.
She's waiting for Alaric at the other side of the bridge. Like, oh, there he is. He's coming. Let's go.
Like, oh, it's the Punisher. And
no.
She knows. So she thinks I'm like that Alaric is dead.
Right.
But she isn't, actually.
And he's not. No.
Yeah.
And so she tears off down the bridge in her Jeep at Punisher, and he just kind of
shoots the radiator.
She can't see. She freaks out instead of just breaking.
Right. And she kind of hits the guardrail on the bridge and is kind of teetering on the edge.
Right.
And Frank just walks by and doesn't help her.
The whole game comes to a rest, teetering on the brink of oblivion. Yeah. Oh no, the car! It's slipping! Help me! Help me! And he just walks away.
Yeah. Do you think that moment would have had more impact if Alaric had been dead? I mean, she thinks he's dead.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the way that Punisher handled it. So not only is Alaric going to be, one way he's going to either he's going to get killed by Punisher.
Yeah.
Or he's going to pay in prison.
Right.
And if he pays in prison, he's bringing down the rest of the trust.
Yeah.
And I think that's Punisher's main goal
Yeah.
in this. And so I think I like the way that happened.
Yeah. How do you like the wrap up of this?
I personally think that this last issue was a bit long. I feel like they could have done all of that in 5 or 6 pages instead of...
So, like, really, issue 4 should have been, like, a little longer.
Yeah.
And just, yeah. And that was probably the original intent.
Right.
I'm disappointed because it's like, I mean, it's a limited series. It's not an ongoing. So it's like, we couldn't have just, like, it's not like fans are going to, like, forget, like, oh, they had to wait a month for the next issue, like, by the team who conceived the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
I understand editorially and from a publishing standpoint why people do make those decisions.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of fumbling, especially in like, I feel like the last issue of a series, especially a limited series, is kind of like really important. It's just as important as that first issue.
Right.
And so it's a little not what it could have been.
Yeah.
More than a little. But it's serviceable, but I mean, like, Mike Vosberg is really a journeyman kind of artist. He's not, like, rad like Mike Zeck.
Right.
And Mary Jo Duffy, while she's fine, like, she didn't conceive this series.
Yeah.
She picked this up as a fill-in, to, script of wrapping up a series.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's got to be hard on her, too, So, I mean, you have to come in and finish a vision of someone.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like,
yeah. You know who I would have, who I would have liked, who did a lot of fill-ins at this time, would have been, actually he was doing a couple of ongoings at this point, but was really good as a fill-in guy, and I think would have probably gotten Steven's vision a little better, would have been Bill Mantlo, who was writing ROM and Micronauts at this time, and I want to say his Hulk run was happening at that time too.
Right.
So pretty busy. Maybe that
maybe
that wasn't an option. But for a long time in years previously, Mantlo had been like the fill-in king.
Right.
I think I once joked, I don't know if I just said it on air, Stephen did a lot of fill-in work too early on, and I once joked that Stephen Grant was the Bill Mantlo of Stephen Grants.
Nice.
But I don't know if I said that on air, if that was just a conversation I had with you, but I like this. I would have liked to have seen a full script from Stephen on this one, because this was his baby.
Yeah.
But overall, I still really like the series.
And I can't imagine that like interest in it would have dropped off by the 4th issue. You know what I mean? Like if it's being sold out by noon that first issue.
Yeah, I mean, like if they had to wait another month for issue number 5 to get Stephen and Mike Zeck to do the book, I think it would have been worth the wait.
Yeah.
And especially because it's not an ongoing. Now, however, though, and this is just purely the publishing aspect, you set a date with the engravers to create the plates and run off the book on a certain date. And if you miss that date, you have lost a placement fee or something. That's not the word, but you having to reschedule that time, you have to pay for that time slot on the printer schedule because they're very busy.
Right.
Okay, I used to work on a printing press. So it could have been just the mechanics of putting out a book like, well, we've already scheduled a number 5 and we can't wait.
Yeah.
Now these days, that's not how comics are published anymore because we don't do it in the 4-color process.
Right.
So it's a little different now. So like books are late all the time now.
Right.
And I miss the efficiency model of that, and also I like the 4-color.
Right.
I'm not into the slick pages of modern comics, but that's just stuff. But I don't know. Yeah. I'm getting rambly now, so I think we should just wrap this one up.
All right.
What do you think? You got anything else?
No, that's it.
Stephen, this was a great series. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Comic Reflections is recorded in Portland, Oregon, and produced by Sean Roof.
Why? I don't even know why we use that guy. He's terrible.
He does a great job doing what I have no tech savvy to do. So I appreciate Sean endlessly. And I know you're just kidding because he's your best friend.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Until next time, we'll see you in the funny pages.
So which is the hottest Marvel character?
Iron Man.
Ant-Man. I can't decide between Professor X and Magneto, so both.
Loki.
Is Wolverine Marvel?
What about White Tiger?
What about White Tiger?
Doc Samson?
Doc who?
Star Fox?
That's a video game.
The girls go on a journey to determine every Marvel character's hotness in Ohatmu or Not, the official handbook of the Marvel Universe podcast you didn't know you wanted. Available on iTunes and at fireandwaterpodcast.com.
Trekker Talk, a fan podcast devoted to the adventures of 23rd century bounty hunter Mercy St. Clair from the pages of Trekker Comics by creator, writer, and artist Ron Randall. I'm Darren.
And I'm Ruth. We'll be discussing the stories, characters, and art in this excellent retro sci-fi adventure series, as well as having side conversations about other areas of fandom.
We hope you'll join us as we travel from the dangerous back streets of New Guelph to the depths of outer space and everywhere in between.
Trekker Talk is available at podbean.com and on iTunes and Stitcher.
Find us at trekkertalk.com.